Welcome to Daily Sports Recap from Tip to Kick. That is Daily Sports Recap from Tip to Kick. And I am so sorry I have not been making episodes, but I just want to give you guys a heads up. This Thursday, I will be leaving for camp and will not be able to make episodes for about 6 weeks. And I know this is a killer for all our dedicated listeners, but I just wanted to tell you this because after that, I'll come right back. So it's not like I'm ending. It's not like I've given up on the pod. After that, I will just be right back. We'll be making episodes during the school year and summer. And once we get into the school year, it'll get more flattened out. There'll be pretty much episodes all day because I'm building a schedule there. So just wanted to tell you guys that. Today we're just going to get into NBA, NFL, MLB, and World Cup news. And just a reminder, please follow and please subscribe. It really does help. We're currently at 77 followers on Spotify, 7 followers on YouTube. And all of you following on Spotify, please go subscribe on YouTube. And once we reach 100 followers on Spotify, there's going to be a huge surprise just for you guys. So please go do that. All right, and let's get into some NBA. Let's get it started. All right, so since I missed kind of a few days, I'm just going to do a quick recap of those and then the day today, obviously. All right, intense trade rumors have heated up throughout the week. The Celtics and Heat emerged as aggressive frontrunners to land Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis. These trades are always interesting. There's always deals, and it's kind of harder to track, but I think those will be two teams where he'll do pretty well. It'd be interesting to see him go to the Celtics. Since he's already wearing green, I think that'd be kind of cool. If he went to the Celtics, I think he'd do pretty well there. All right, insiders revealed that Boston's pursuit is centered around featuring star forward Jaylen Brown. So obviously I want to give him an offer because he's such a star and really is one of the heads of that team. All right, the Heat began working on complex multi-team angles to facilitate a deal possibly involving the Pistons or the Lakers. All right, all-star guard Trae Young officially declined his lucrative player option with the Wizards to explore the open market, and I don't blame him. He wants to get with a better team than the Wizards since they are pretty trash. All right, the Hawks locked up veteran sharpshooter C.J. McCollum to a 1-year, $21 million extension and acquired guard Aaron Wiggins from the Oklahoma City Thunder for two future second-round picks. The Suns finalized court extensions to retain breakout guard Colin Giuseppe, $48 million over 4 years, and backup Jordan Goodwin. All right, now let's get into the day in sports since that was just the week. All right, the 2026 NBA draft kicks off tomorrow night, Tuesday, June 23rd at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And tomorrow, before this, I'm going to do a little segment about the draft, and I'll maybe get someone on here to do predictions for the draft. And then the next episode after that, we're going to talk about the draft, obviously. All right, so the Wizards hold the number 1 pick. Front office insiders indicate that they're heavily locked into choosing BYU forward A.J. Dybantsa or Kansas guard Darren Peterson, and I think those are both great players. A.J. Dybantsa has always been what they were talking about in the number 1, so I think they'll probably choose him. But also you have Darren Peterson, who he's not newer in this conversation, but they were always looking at Dybantsa, so if he really impressed them, they'll probably take him. All right. Draft experts have reached a firm consensus on the top 4 prospects: A.J. Dybantsa, Cameron Boozer, Darren Peterson, Caleb Wilson. So yeah, there's a big lineup, a good one right there. All right. Golden State GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. Holds a rare lottery selection at number 11 and is actively exploring whether to select an immediate impact player or trade down for multiple assets. All right. The Oklahoma City Thunder kicked off offseason movement by trading guard Aaron Wiggins to the Hawks in exchange for 2 second-round draft picks. And I think this is a pretty good move for the Thunder. By getting 2 second-round draft picks, they really expand their range and players that they're going to get, and hopefully this can benefit them and help them push past to get another championship. Veteran guard C.J. McCollum agreed to 1-year, $21 million contract extension to remain with the Hawks. Some more news. The NPBA, which if you do not know is the Players United Basketball Association, launched a new consumer-facing brand called Players United That is PLYRSUNTD. Intended to maximize the commercial value of player group licensing, the venture will feature a 24/7 player-owned state-of-the-art training facility opening Los Angeles this August, which is actually pretty cool. I don't really know too much about this, but I will find out and we'll talk about it next episode. But this sounds kind of like a cool thing. All right, now let's get into some NFL. All right, so I'm going to talk about obviously the week that I missed, or like part of the week that I missed, and then today. So let's start off with that week. All right. Jeffrey Simmons, the Tennessee Titans shook up the market by signing their all-pro defensive tackle, to a 3-year, $105.8 million extension. Making him the highest paid DT in NFL history. So a lot of huge contracts being made. Pretty eventful offseason so far. The Jets locked down the front line by signing their right guard, Joe Tippmann, to a 4-year, $64 million extension. Obviously, the Browns traded edge rusher Myles Garrett to the Rams in exchange for Jared Verse and future draft picks. All right. Despite ongoing contract drama and no new extension in place, wide receiver George Pickens avoid fines by reporting to the Cowboys' mandatory minigames. And you always got to show up for those. You get a fine if you don't, and you're really just going there to work out, put in work before the season. So it's pretty dumb not to go there unless you're trying to obviously stake out a new contract, get an extension, work for it. But you might as well go. You got to benefit the team. Got to think about it. All right, the NFL officially altered its roster cut-down schedule for the 2026 season. Teams must now trim their roster directly to 53 players by Sunday, August 30th, accelerating the deadline from its usual Tuesday slot. All right, following the conclusion of the UFL season, NFL teams aggressively targeted spring league standouts. The Denver Broncos headlined the movement by signing veteran receiver Hakeem Butler, which I think is pretty cool. You're playing in the UFL, obviously not the NFL, not the caliber of play, and then you get addressed by an NFL team, and you get picked. So to play for them. So I think that's pretty dang cool. All right, former All-Pro rusher Aldon Smith, we already talked about this, but it is pretty sad, passed away at the age of 36. His family announced their plans to donate his brain to the Concussion Legacy Foundation for CTE research. All right, Texas Tech quarterback Brandon Sorsby officially applied for the NFL supplemental draft, creating a rare midsummer scouting event for a high-profile player. Broncos linebacker Jonathan Cooper was arrested on charges of violating a protection order, adding an off-field hurdle for Denver's defense. And it's always sad. NFL players do tend to get in some trouble, but it's also hard when you're such a young guy and you're being handed millions of dollars, and you have all this responsibility. It's hard. Oh crap, that was the news of the day. Alright, so that was the news of the day. Now we're going to get into the small recap of the week. Nailed it. Alright, Joe Burrow's bold statement. Back on the field, the Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow turned heads by comparing the vibes of his current squad to his historic 2019 LSU championship team. So obviously he's just trying to, boost morale for this team. The Bengals aren't going to be too bad, but, I don't know. It's the Bengals. It's always kind of hard to tell. Joe Burrow's obviously a major offensive talent. He has some pieces around him, but they always have some trouble, making it happen in the end. All right. Coaches across the league used their final minicamp sessions to integrate rookies and test new schematic wrinkles before sending players off on a 6-week break. After all this minicamp, they do deserve and need a break. All right. The Denver Broncos secured long-term stability by signing head coach Sean Payton to a new 5-year contract through 2030. Along with Jeffrey Simmons' record-setting deal, the Kansas City Chiefs recently added Patrick Mahomes through 2033, while the Falcons locked up wide receiver Drake London on a 4-year, $150 million extension. Following the conclusion of the UFL season on June 13th, its players have already officially became free agents on June 15th. Over 23 UFL standouts have already signed NFL training camp contracts, which is obviously really cool. Headlined by St. Louis Battlehawks star receiver Hakeem Butler joining the Broncos, which we just talked about. Our Texas Tech quarterback Brandon Sorsby obviously shook up the community by applying for the supplemental draft as well. All right. Why don't we get into some MLB? All right. So, just a quick recap of the week, not including today, obviously. The Dodgers swept the Rays midweek to lock down MLB's best overall record at 42-29 before dropping a hard-fought weekend series to the Baltimore O's. Let's go, O's. Let's go, baby. Yeah, the Rays are a great team, and the Dodgers swept them, which was pretty impressive. And then the O's just took the belt to the Dodgers. I think it was like 12-2 or something, which is so great, so awesome. This is what I've been saying all along. The O's, you're not going to get the most consistent team out of them. They're having trouble this season. They're hitting a lot of hits. They're having trouble pushing through with the pitching. Obviously, Bautista God not helping. But what I've always said about the O's, they're not going to be your ride or die. They're going to be a ride or die team you can cheer for. But what I'm trying to say is they're not going to be the team that you wait for every night and you know that they're always going to get a win. They're the team that sometimes is going to get a win. They semi-consistently get wins. But then sometimes they will just punch a team that is definitely way stronger than them, like the Dodgers, in the mouth. Sometimes they just catch fire, and it is so exciting to see, especially as an O's fan. I've been an O's fan my whole life. And it's just great to see them keeping going. All right, the Marlins continued a blistering June performance by completing a 3-game weekend sweep of the Giants. Yeah. But just back to the O's, I thought that was so great, so exciting. And I was like, whoa. When I checked the score, I was freaking out. Big win for them. Anyways, let's go O's. The Cincinnati Reds took 2 out of 3 games at Yankee Stadium, anchored by a masterful 7-strikeout Sunday performance from rookie ace Chase Burns. All right. MLB released its official All-Star ballot update, and I actually saw this, revealing Shohei leading the overall count with Yordan Alvarez topping the American League charts, and this is not surprising. Obviously, Shohei is such a big player for that. All right. Twin star Byron Buxton took home the AL Player of the Week following a dominant multi-homer stretch. And sometimes in a baseball season, people just catch fire. Teams just catch fire. And you never know how long it's going to end. But that's what's so exciting about the MLB. And obviously, you can hear it highlighted on this podcast. All right. The youth movement took center stage as the Cubs rookie Pete Crow Armstrong hit for a thrilling first career cycle earlier this week. Sorry. And I was listening to the radio last night. I was listening to the Phils game. And I heard something that I definitely agreed with that we need to talk about the cycle. The cycle is incredibly hard. There was, I forget who it was last night, but someone was a triple away from the cycle. And one announcer who played in the MLB said, he's pretty close to the cycle. And the other announcer, who is older, made an excellent point. You can be, in the cycle, you can be a single or a double away. I'd say a single or a double away is pretty close. Because, it's not that hard to hit a single. I mean, it's definitely extremely hard. But, in the scheme of things, home run, triple, it's hard. It's not that hard to hit a double. To hit a triple, something has to go wrong. Something has to, to get in the cycle, something has to be going really weird. Because to hit a triple, there's so much chance involved. It's basically, it has to be the length of a home run, but right before it turns into a home run. But the outfielder has to mess up, the infield has to It is extremely hard to hit a triple. So if you are a triple away, yeah, you're one hit away. Technically. But you're not close. You are close as in there's one hit. But hitting a triple, I'm not like, okay, he has a triple left, he's going to get a cycle this game. No. Hitting a triple is so hard, and getting the cycle is so hard, that if you're a hit away, if it's not a single or a double, I'm not going to call you close. That's not what his point was. And I definitely agreed with that. I had never heard someone's take on that before, although I knew the general idea of that obviously makes sense. But yeah, Pete Crow Armstrong is such an exciting player when you watch him. So, yeah, it's great for them that he hit a cycle. I went on that little tangent, but yeah. Anyways, MLB owners propose sweeping infrastructure updates, including a controversial plan to ban high school amateur signings in favor of establishing a unified international draft, which would be interesting to see an international draft. I don't really know about that. Anyways, the Orioles were hit hard by health crisis, losing star catcher Adley Rutschman to a 7-day concussion IL, benching infielder Jackson Holliday with groin tightness. Yeah, they're young stars. They'll come back from it. But it is a shame to see them. Those are two of their biggest guys. Yeah. Wait a minute. Boom! Add the Rutschman card right there. Email me, and it'll be yours. All right. As a reminder, if you want to email us for a shout-out question, anything for the pod, if you want this Adley Rutschman card, I guess, just email me at tiptokick@gmail.com. That is tiptokick@gmail.com. No spaces, no capitals. So, yeah. All right, now let's get into today's news. Okay, the Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber launched 3 home runs, including 2 in a single inning, to up his major league total to 29 in the same stretch. Teammate Bryce Harper completed a blazing 5-inning cycle, securing the first of his career, and that's the guy that I was talking about, who earned his cycle. So yeah, that was a great big game for the Phils. They had just crazy moves from both of them. And when Kyle Schwarber swings, it looks like he's breaking his spine. They did one he did one swing where he just turned like all the way around, and the umpire put up his hands and take a minute, and then he brushed the plate for him because he looks like he gets hurt every time he swings. But that's how he gets so strong. That's how he hits the ball so hard. And obviously a tremendous hitter. So great job for both Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. All right, on Sunday, players across the league wore baby blue ribbons and swung custom blue bats to raise money for Prostate Cancer Foundation through the league's annual Home Run Challenge for Father's Day tributes. I know it's a little late, but tell your dad Happy Father's Day if you have not. Cardinals rookie J.J. Weatherall put on a power display with 2 early home runs against Royals, while Guardians rookie Travis Bonanza put up a massive career best night following 4 hits, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs, which is a massive game for anyone, especially for a rookie, which is great to see. All right. Yankees activated catcher Austin Wells from the 10-day IL following a 2-week absence from him. Outfielder Mike Trout is headed to the IL with hamstring injury due to dealing a heavy blow to the Angels and halting his long streak. We got Mike Trout right there. All right. Diamondbacks placed starter Justin Sorka on the IL, and the Tigers expected Justin Verlin to miss several weeks due to a hamstring injury, and the Rangers placed Jack Letter on the IL with an ankle injury. So lots of injuries going into this week. So we'll see how they can all bounce back. None of them sound too serious. And it always makes you not sad, but it's always a shame when you see their season's over. But that doesn't really seem to be the case much this week. All right. With the August trade deadline approaching, the front offices are actively scouting under the radar targets. According to The Athletic, primary attention is centered on clubs gauging market interest for elite arms like Tariq Skugel, Freddie Peralta, and Joe Ryan, alongside decisions by the Giants regarding high-profile veterans like Rafael Devers and Willie Adames. All right, now let's move to some World Cup. All right, so again, I do not have that much soccer ball knowledge, so I don't really know. So I might say something wrong, and if I do, just comment or send an email, I guess. All right, so we're going to do this week, recap, and then we'll do today for the World Cup. All right, Cape Verde, the tiny island nation shocked the football world twice. Their first held Spain to a 0-0 draw, which I thought was crazy. I'd never even heard of Cape Verde, and followed in a dramatic 2-2 draw against Uruguay, where Kevin Pina scored their first ever tournament goal. So yeah, I've heard that they are going pretty crazy. Yeah. All right. Despite suffering a brutal 7-1 blowout dominant Germany against a Germany dominant Germany. What am I saying? Curaçao's, I think, coach burst into tears of joy when his team first scored their first ever World Cup goal. Obviously, scoring a goal in the World Cup is such a big deal. I don't think enough people in America realize it, but everyone in the world watches the World Cup because there's nations around the world watching it. And if you score a goal, you'll be remembered forever by your country. And it's just a huge goal. Think about it. Like, this is this is like the only sport that everyone in the entire world plays. So everyone in the entire world is watching this, and you score a goal, your country scores a goal, and obviously it's just a hugely emotional moment for people that sometimes people in the USA don't understand. But everyone around the world, you know what I'm talking about. All right. Iran stunned Belgium, a highly tactical Group 6 fixture. A resilient 10-man Iranian squad held Belgium to a 0-0 stalemate, or 0-0, as they do say in soccer. All right, USA. The USMT secured a 2-0 victory over Australia. I watched that game in Seattle through an early own goal and an Alex Freeman header, officially punching their ticket to the round of 32. And I was listening to the radio last night, and I heard this crazy thing that this guy did. Obviously, the person on the radio. So Alex Freeman scored a header. He is the son of NFL wide receiver Antonio Freeman. And in the exact same stadium, in pretty close to the same spot, I'm pretty sure, Alex Freeman scored a header. Alex Freeman's dad scored a touchdown a bunch of years ago in Seattle. He played for the Packers. But there was more coincidences. It was in the same stadium. One. Both were controversial. Well, not exactly controversial. His kick, they challenged for offsides. People thought, and the announcer, that Antonio Freeman didn't catch the ball. They thought he swatted it away, but he grabbed it. So that's a coincidence. The announcers pretty much had one of the same reactions. The reaction was like, what? The ball's up? It's up. Alex Freeman scores. It's good. Oh, wait, no. The reaction for the touchdown was like, it's the throw. Oh, no, it's blocked. Oh, no, it's good. What's this? It was like that, and it was just crazy. Then he meshed them together. He did this crazy thing. But I just thought that was quite a coincidence and a pretty cool moment for that father-son duo there. Anyways, the USA punched their ticket to the round of 32, and I think it's great that the USA is pushing their way through this World Cup. It's really going to boost soccer in the USA and, make the World Cup more exciting for years to come if we just keep pushing through. All right, Canada secured its first ever World Cup win in an empathetic fashion by smashing Qatar 6-0, powered by a spectacular Jonathan David hat-trick. Mexico keeps pace. El Tri kept the home crowds loud by defeating South Korea 1-0 in Guadalajara to stay firmly in control of their knockout destiny. All right, Argentina and France fly high. Both tournament favorites started flawlessly with Lionel Messi scoring a historic opening hat trick, which obviously the old guys still got it, to tie Maroslav's Klosa's all-time World Cup goal record. And obviously, Messi's great. I still think Ronaldo is better. We can get into a debate about it later. We might get into it right now. Brazil and Portugal. While France and England recorded steady wins, Brazil struggled to tense 3-3 draw with Haiti, and Portugal dropped opening points to an unyielding DR Congo, which I thought was crazy. All right, Portugal. People are saying that Ronaldo's washed now. I just want to remind you that Ronaldo is older than Messi. When Ronaldo was cooking, Ronaldo was cooking. Messi is not his prime, obviously, but he is still doing well. So Ronaldo's not washed. He's just it's just harder for him because he's older, and Argentina has a good team with good supporting cast. But anyways, all right. Mohamed Salah led Egypt to 3-1 comeback victory over New Zealand in Vancouver, scoring the Pharaohs' first ever World Cup match win to their 92-year tournament history. All right. Yeah. All right. French sports media giant L'Equipe issued a formal apology to Belgium winger Jeremy Doku after an on-air presenter heavily criticized him for planning to temporarily leave the tournament in July to attend the birth of his first child. Honestly, if your child's being born, you gotta be there, man. So this commentator, on-air presenter, is kind of a bum for saying that. It's the birth of his first child. Why would he not? he's played a bunch of soccer games. I mean, come on, he's gotta go see that child get born. So kudos to him for choosing family over the match. All right, the tiny island pulled off another stunning upset. This is Cape Verde, holding powerhouse Uruguay to a dramatic 2-2 draw, keeping their unexpected dreams of reaching the knockout stage alive. And they have been going crazy. It's so exciting to watch. So exciting to watch. Them in particular. Curacao keeper makes history. The goalkeeper Eloy Room achieved cult status by making 15 saves during Curacao's 0-0 draw with Ecuador, tying Tim Howard's all-time World Cup record for most saves in a single match. So obviously, this is pretty crazy. People were surprised that they did this, and big kudos to him for having that many saves. All right, so today... Yeah. All right. Monday, June 22nd. That is today. Let's go. Argentina versus Austria is at 1. That is Group J. Lionel Messi can break the all-time World Cup goal record, so this will be interesting to watch if he does. France and Iraq, Group I. Les Blues can officially punch their ticket to the round 32 with a win. Norway versus Senegal. That is at 8. Group I, Erling Haaland looking to build on Norway's group lead through severe storm forecast at MetLife Stadium, threatened a potential lightning delay, and nothing ever goes well in MetLife Stadium, because it's where the Jets play. It's just forever losers. But anyways, Jordan versus Algeria is at 11. That's Group J. A vital loser goes home match as both sides hunt for their first points. So yeah, these games are always extremely emotional. It's always interesting to watch. All right, Christian Pulisic will miss Thursday's group finale against Turkey due to a calf injury. Coach Mauricio Pochetti is expected to rest several other key players who are carrying yellow cards to protect them from knockouts, which I think is a great choice. But the USA has proven that they can play without Pulisic against the Australia game. They didn't have Pulisic, so All right, Canada midfielder Eslamo Kone is out for the remainder of the World Cup. He's out for the remainder of the World Cup after undergoing successful surgery to repair a lower limb fracture suffered against Qatar. All right, that's all we have for the podcast today. But a message from our sponsor. Looking to get married in 2027. I cannot, so it's on you guys. But if you're looking to say I do and want it done right in the DMV, please hit up Rebecca Thomas Events. And if you do, tell them Christian from the pod sent you for a grand total of $0 off. All right. Thank you. Please follow. Please subscribe on YouTube and please follow. And email us if you would like. This has been Daily Sports Recap from Tip to Kick. Tell your friends, post about us, get us in chat boards. Thank you so much. I'm Christian and I am signing off.